The Benny Johnson and Andrew Tate clown show, my lord. This video is a little bit delayed because a few days ago, Andrew and Tristan Tate thought it would be a brilliant idea to confront Crayons and myself in a Twitter space. It went about exactly as you would expect, and I just had to get an upload of it out as soon as possible.
We got Murdered by Crayons who wants to pose a question. Crayons, go ahead.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Speaking of pedophiles, you've been charged with raping a 15-year-old in the ass. That's why you're on house arrest, and you're lying to your family. You know it.
If you missed it, check the link in the description. As for Tate's appearance on Benny Johnson's show, this is the first time I've watched the Benny show, and my god, how does anyone watch this?
Grip tight, striding on this phase. Benny's Mike, Tate's pushing the gate.
Can we just keep the song going? Can we just keep it? What is it? We can just keep it going through the whole show. Can we just put a bed of music through the whole show? I want to hear the whole banger. We love this audience. We love the chat. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Let's lock in, baby. Let's lock in. Real quick question. For Killer Klein and ALX, do we have new emojis? Do we have new emojis for the chat? Because you may want to be using these emojis today. I know we got quite a bit. I know we have a Cash Patel rolled out, but let me know. If not,
I hope you people realize the torture that I go through to make some of these videos. Part of the Benny show that immediately stuck out to me as insane was the fact that he was going through this intro video while Los Angeles was experiencing horrific wildfires during the recording of this stream.
Profile, hot takes blowing up, no dial. Viewers tuned in, click until they smile. Naysay whispers vanish in a blaze. Tweets and memes, everybody's amazed. Pulse of the net, driven by the haze. Take grips.
What's the absolute fuck? Benny then went on to make some rather untimely puns during his intro.
Intentional, and lo and behold, now the LAPD is arresting the arsonists. There's a lot of arson going on right now. Arson against our president, quite frankly. Arson against our judicial system. And we have some incredible guests. I don't think there is a single, humbly, I don't think there is a better show today for you to be tuned in and locked into, because we are going to roll it all out. President Trump being sentenced right now makes our blood boil.
Houses were burning down and people were dying as Benny was saying this. Just a deranged lunatic. But the controversy out of this show was Benny's platforming of the self-confessed sex trafficker and child predator Andrew Tate. Benny, I think rightly, faced major backlash for this, even amongst the MAGA community. He took to Twitter afterwards saying, "If you're upset that people you disagree with have conversations, you need to find a different year to live in. It's 2025, censorship and deplatforming is dead. People can think for themselves. We are free. Grow up." So Benny's interpretation of why people were pissed off was that people they disagree with were having conversations. Let's look at how Benny introduced Andrew Tate in the introduction of his program to see how this holds up.
Good. And ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Tate joining the show. Andrew Tate, a man who we've followed for a long time, who has a profound and serious voice in culture, and we're proud to defend his free speech and his also exoneration from charges that have been brought by the state for nothing, which is now demonstrable, which is now proven. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is going to be wall to wall, and we are very.
Aside from the shameless, humiliating glazing, Benny's own introduction of the Tate interview at the top of the show is full of propaganda for the self-confessed sex trafficker who is in an active human trafficking case involving minors. He says that these are charges brought by the state based from nothing, that this is now demonstrable and proven. Benny doesn't show any evidence or documents to back this up. He can't, because they don't exist. The main criticism I've seen of Benny Johnson for doing this was that he platforms Tate, allowing him to run propaganda about his own criminal case. But he went well beyond this. Hours before Tate even appeared on the show, Benny himself was spinning lies and propaganda about Andrew Tate's human trafficking case. Let's look at how Benny introduced Tate when it was time for him to make his grand appearance.
Ladies and gentlemen, something I've been excited to say on this program, well, since really the inception of the program, and someone who I think will deliver absolute, profound takes on what is happening right now, because he himself has been the victim of state-sponsored incarceration, lawfare, and abuses of justice for political reasons, has had his free speech silenced and limited, has had his freedom of movement and thought silenced and limited, and has fought through at every measure, and is now on the precipice of victory and looking at potentially running himself for office. We're going to ask all of these things of Andrew Tate, who joins us live. You know so very much about this, but whether it be you or Marine Le Pen in France or Bolsonaro in Brazil or President Trump here in America, there seems to be a global fight against the freedom movement, against populism and against free speech and free thinkers. You yourself have been a victim of this, and so I want to just set the table for you to sound off on your take, President Trump being sentenced today.
Yeah, that was.
Benny wants to make it clear that this man who is facing charges of trafficking and raping women and children that are backed up by a mountain of evidence, including himself bragging on the internet about it for many years, is a poor little victim. You may be wondering why on earth Benny is doing this. I have a theory which I'll get into later in the video. But first, let's have a look at some of the bizarre lies that Benny allowed Andrew to freely yell on his program.
Losing. 10 years ago, did I make inappropriate jokes on the internet? Yes. Am I sorry? No. We're grown-ups. It was 10 years. Get over it. I don't want to be seen as...
This has become one of Andrew's favourite reoccurring lies, that people don't like him because of some jokes he told 10 years ago. Andrew, this might fool your fanboys that I see repeating this in my comments, but you're not fooling us. We don't like you because up until your arrest in December 2022, not 10 years ago, you were a filthy, degenerate pimp who was, according to your own admissions in podcasts and your own training material, trafficking women, and we now have confirmation, at least one minor, into webcam and OnlyFans pornography, using these techniques that you taught to other young men.
And I became a multi-millionaire. I did this by creating a webcam studio, by taking girls who didn't know how to be effective on webcam, girls who had never done webcam before, girls who didn't have the equipment, didn't have the know-how, didn't have the will, didn't have the premises, didn't have the ability to make money with this exchange. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income, allowed me to make sure they were effective, because it's a super competitive industry. Don't think this is easy money. You're just going to put a girl on the camera and they're going to get rich straight away. No, it's very competitive and it's very difficult. I learned every tip and trick it takes to make sure a girl gets paid. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away, because once you teach a girl how to do this, she has the ability to make unlimited money from home. Why would she still give it to you? Why would she just run off and keep it all for herself? Why are you getting your percentage? I learned how to do everything to take a nobody and make her a somebody. I learned how to take a nothing, turn her into a cash cow, and betas from all across the world would be sending money into my bank account. This is what webcamming is.
It's men like me who are prepared to go to jail, men like me who are prepared to go arrested, men like me who are prepared to lose their life and lose access to their children. That's what they wanted me to do when they threw me in a Romanian dungeon, was to destroy my own brand by showing weakness, because they didn't think I could handle Romanian solitary confinement, and they got proved wrong. So in certain scenarios where you have exceptional men who are prepared to do the right thing, it backfires. However,
Andrew loves to tell us that he doesn't care if he goes to jail, because he is so much braver and tougher than the average man, and that when he was in jail in 2023, it didn't faze him one bit because he's such a big boy. Well, when Andrew was in jail in 2023, in a desperate attempt to get out of jail and to Dubai, Andrew Tate made an utter fool of himself by faking cancer. Andrew's friend and war room associate, Jules Sullivan, aka the sartorial shooter, humiliated himself with this Instagram post, confirming this fake story that Andrew had cancer and lying that he was the one driving him to and from hospital in Dubai for this imaginary cancer treatment. Andrew's porn star friend Sterling Cooper, another war room douche, embarrassed himself for his leader, saying that those close to Andrew knew he had lung cancer for a while. He talked about how inspirational it was that he took over the internet fighting cancer, and said that if Romania denies him medical treatment, it could kill him. I'm very, very ashamed to say that these two friends of Andrew Tate's are both Australian. Tate's propaganda stooge, Suleiman Ahmed, posted that the cancer could be incurable now, and that a 6-month delay in treatment could be fatal. Andrew was denied this request to be rushed to Dubai for a medical emergency, because medical records show that it had been known for some time that the lump found in his lung months earlier was benign. Shortly after, once this embarrassing and desperate plan failed, Andrew posted that he did not have cancer and that he was just such a badass. So Andrew was not a picture of bravery when he was in jail. Next, we see Benny once again not just having a conversation with someone we don't like, but he himself deliberately spreading lies and propaganda about an ongoing human trafficking investigation.
Okay, Andrew, maybe some people haven't kept up with the news. We certainly have on our program, but kept up with the news that your file is empty. Maybe they just heard the slanderous headlines about you 2 years ago, and that your file is empty, and that now the Romanian courts have effectively done what they've done here in the American courts, which is thrown out, atomize, and dissolve every charge against Donald Trump because it was political. But
Benny then sat silently and gave a man charged with trafficking and raping women and minors an uninterrupted mic to lie about his own criminal case.
Romania. Then I started to win the first case. I started to win by having a lot of the evidence thrown out because the evidence was gathered illegally. Illegal wiretaps, illegal surveillance, false translations, fake witnesses that don't even exist. The whole case was grade A Africa level corruption. As it stands now, a judge has ruled that 100% of the evidence gathered against me is illegal. So I have a criminal file which is open. It is keeping me currently travel banned, but it is empty because the judge has said every single piece of evidence is illegal. So here I stand.
In case there's any confusion, every single part of that was a lie. There is obviously not an empty file. Out of the 75,000-page case file in the first case in Romania, the only evidence to have been removed is 4 statements. We now have more details of the judge's decision on the 19th of December to send the case file back to the prosecutor. The new information, which is public and can be found on the Bucharest court portal, has revealed that on the 12th of December, Tate's lawyer requested thousands of pieces of evidence to be removed from the case. On the 19th of December, the judge denied 100% of these requests. The evidence wasn't deemed to be illegal. In fact, the judge clarified that the main reasoning for sending the case file back to the prosecutor was to amend irregularities not surrounding the Tate brothers' charges, but their 2 female accomplices, Luana and Georgiana. The judge made it clear that these handful of issues do not mean the case will not go to trial. To summarise, we knew the Tate brothers were lying, but this update from the court has revealed that they were lying more than even we thought. This next segment is especially sick. Benny Johnson gave Andrew Tate an open, large, uninterrupted platform to attack, lie about, and slander one of the victims in his own ongoing human trafficking case.
He said, in terms of my current defamation suit against one of the girls who has tried to help the Romanian state put me in jail. I'm suing one of the women in Florida who lied about me. She knows she lied. She lied about 7 men, saying that 7 different men had raped her throughout her life. One of them men, unfortunately, committed suicide. This woman is evil. She's put lots of men in jail, and she's being defended by liberal NGOs because she was recruited to try and destroy my life. So please.
The Tate brothers have chosen 2 specific victims in the case, particularly the one from the US, to attack and intimidate relentlessly. They are suing these 2 victims in what, in my opinion, is a ridiculous, frivolous lawsuit designed to intimidate them and other women from coming forward. The American victim's parents and a US Marine who she contacted while with the Tates to get help were all also ridiculously initially being sued by the Tates. When the lawsuit was filed, the Tate's clown of a lawyer, Joseph McBride, repeatedly posted an unredacted copy of the lawsuit on his Twitter page, fully doxing these 2 women over and over and over. The Tates, likely paid propaganda stooge Suleiman Ahmed, launched a vicious harassment and slander campaign against these 2 women on Twitter, and even travelled from the UK to Florida to try to find dirt on the American-based victim. Candace Owens released a full-length video attacking and slandering the American-based victim. Andrew was allowed to lie to Benny, saying the American woman has accused 7 men of raping her, put lots of men in jail, and caused one to commit suicide. The reality of this situation, which Tate is twisting like a sick freak, is that this woman, when she was an underage girl, had several grown men take advantage of her. One of the men who molested her as a minor happened to kill himself, and only one of these men ended up in jail. This man, Keith Fox. Fox was 57 and is right now in jail because he was convicted of molesting this girl when she was 15 and other young girls, including one as young as 12. This freak is who Tate is talking about as a victim. I guess these types really do stick together. And this degenerate, Benny Johnson, was fully complicit in this. Next, Benny had a surprise guest, who may have been even more excited than he was to see the top G.
First, Andrew, we have a special guest that is joining us right now, somebody who noticed that you would be on our show and wanted to say hello. This is the attorney for President Trump. Her name is Alina Habba, and she joins us live right now.
Hi.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you. I'm a fan. You're the one saving Trump. You're doing more important work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said. I agree with everything you say. And I have your back out here in the States. And when I saw that you were going to be on, I said to Benny, I have to meet Andrew Tate. There is literally only one person with the same amount of anger and fire, and that's probably me and President Trump. But it's because you love what's right. We need strong, powerful voices like yours. And yeah, I got your back over here.
You've seen it in New York, but I promise you the only place worse is Romania. You would not believe the stories that I will one day tell. It's
No, I've been watching, and it's very clear what the problem is. You have a strong voice. You have a lot of followers. You are much like President Trump in that way. You have influence. And when people have influence, they have to fight harder. And unfortunately, you are a victim of that. I see it. That doesn't make you a victim. You're a strong person, but they'll hit you as hard as they possibly can because of that. It's a disgrace what they're doing. Obviously, I don't know the facts of your case, but I know that it probably wouldn't be happening if you were not yourself. And that's very similar to my client. And
this has been really fun.
Thanks for letting me crash your party.
That's right. You'll have the podium next time, Alina.
No, I don't need it. I'm good here.
Alina Habba and Andrew Tate, everyone. Godspeed.
Thank you.
How embarrassing. The backlash to an advisor for the incoming president of the United States fawning over a self-confessed sex trafficker and child predator was something else. I don't have much to add to this that hasn't been covered all over social media at great length, but the fallout to this is enough that Mr. Trump might need to reappoint yet another member of his cabinet. Of course, Andrew had to spend part of the interview yelling about his fake political party, bruv.
The youth is mine. These old people are dying. The country's in decline. And as people get more desperate and look for more and more radical choices, they're going to see my competency, which is on permanent display in nearly every single interview I do. They're going to want to give me a chance because they have nothing else to lose. So I will run for general election. And I truly believe on a long enough time frame, the chance of me becoming the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is somewhere around 100%.
I covered this in my recent video, Andrew Tate for Prime Minister, but of course this is silly. Apart from the UK system being different from the US presidential election system to the point of making Andrew Tate becoming Prime Minister nearly impossible, both Andrew and his brother Tristan had an extradition to the UK approved in March 2024 for more charges of human trafficking and rape. So no, of course Andrew Tate isn't going to be Prime Minister. Once Benny had said goodbye to Andrew and Alina, he addressed his audience, and you could see he was visibly shaken as he noticed the reception he was getting from his audience in chat.
Frank, what a show. What a fun time. We just want to say, as you've obviously traveled with us through this wild ride, thank you. We want to say we deeply, deeply appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. And we hope that you open-mindedness that we do in bringing on a wide variety of people to hear them out, to be respectful, to listen, and to allow us to save Western civilization. The way you do that is opening up ideas, not shutting them down. Ladies and gentlemen.
Just an utter public humiliation. If Benny was this visibly shook by the immediate reaction from his chat, then he had no idea the battering that was in store for him on social media, and not just from the left. MAGA and the right in general overwhelmingly told Benny where he can shove that idea of platforming a self-confessed sex trafficker to run propaganda about his case. The public as a whole had one question: why? Why would Benny do this and destroy whatever reputation he had? Surely in the scheme of things, the clicks were not worth it. Well, I have a theory. A theory that I believe Benny has opened himself up to with another guest that Benny had on his show that day before Tate even appeared.
Nation, ladies and gentlemen, we have joining us right now a legend, somebody who has predicted President Trump in his every single move. Somebody who has laid the groundwork for this moment with early work with some legends like Andrew Breitbart and Tucker. Somebody who is, and I use this term very, very sparingly because you have to make sure that you are locked in when you use it. Wise. Mike Cernovich is wise. Mike Cernovich comes to us from California. And he's going to talk to us about what's happening on a larger scale across the country, grabbing hold of this moment. There's been no one better, one of the few wise men in this space. The great Mike Cernovich joins the show.
Who is Mike Cernovich? At first glance, it may seem insignificant that Cerno appeared on the Benny Johnson show. He is, after all, heavily MAGA, so he is not out of place. But this is why it stuck out to me and raised alarm bells. Cernovich has a long history with Andrew Tate. He is deeply, deeply involved in Tate's cult/criminal organisation, The War Room. In the now historic Substack articles by Nick Monroe, aka Crabman, which feature a long series of leaked chat log messages of the War Room Inner Circle, openly discussing and strategizing together how they would groom and traffic women and young girls into OnlyFans and webcam pornography, Mike Cernovich has his own dedicated section. What these leaks reveal about the man they call Cerno is that he had a key leadership role in Tate's dark, twisted criminal network.
Again, welcoming us into the golden era, a man who's very much partially responsible for this golden era and who played a big note, ladies and gentlemen, bringing us Donald Trump populism. The great Mike Cernovich. Please follow Mike for all things, including lifestyle habits and fatherly advice, and advice on just how to live a profound and happy life of meaning. 1.3 million Americans already follow Mike, and he's the man. Godspeed, Mike.
Always a pleasure.
Do you know what you can also get lessons on from Cernovich if you follow him? How to, what he calls choke, but let's be real, strangle women. These are the sort of things that Cernovich used to write tutorial blogs about. Let's look at a few excerpts from this article, and yeah, it's gonna need a trigger warning. Cerno says choking works because it is a show of dominance. Women only want to have consensual sex with men they know could rape them. Cerno appears to be attempting to write that nearly every romantic novel features a woman being taken against her will. What the fuck? He goes on to explain that once you cut off the oxygen to her brain, she has 3 to 5 seconds before she passes out. He loves choking women until their eyes go almost lifeless, and that it's no cause for alarm if you strangle them unconscious. According to Cerno, choking is an indication of your alphaness. This is a really weird, reoccurring theme across Andrew Tate's entire network. Of the half a dozen women who have reported to the police that Andrew Tate raped or sexually assaulted them, most of them have reported violent, unconsensual strangulation during sex, to the point of going unconscious, thinking they were going to die, and in multiple cases, bursting blood vessels in their eyes. There is also this video of Andrew Tate's ex-girlfriend, who he is now charged with trafficking into webcam when she was a minor, just casually remarking, as if it's become normal to her, that she has seen men choke women so hard during sex that they died.
That's the reasoning behind like why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys actually accidentally, how funny is that? Actually accidentally kill their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
It is not clear if she's talking about this happening at the hands of Andrew, someone else in the war room, or who this might have been. And this brings me to where I have to address Benny Johnson. What the hell was this, Benny? Not only did you platform a self-confessed sex trafficker and child predator, while actively assisting him in spreading propaganda about his ongoing human trafficking case, but in the same program you platformed his degenerate friend, who is deeply connected to his cult/criminal organization. What gives, Benny? Are you a closet war room member? Does Tate have something on you? Have you attended one of his parties featuring underage girls that witnesses in the case have reported? If there is not more than meets the eye with Benny Johnson, he sure had an odd way of showing it in this stream.